Welcome back to the channel, fellow adventurers. If you're new here, we do EDC gear and knife review videos. If you like that kind of content, subscribe to the channel. All right, folks. Today, we are doing something very different. We have something that came in from Mossy Oak. They asked me if I wanted to check this out, and I said, absolutely. This is a newer version of the 11.5-inch Machete. So let's open her up and see what we got. Now, for truth and disclosure, I actually did open it up to make this faster to unbox. It came in this plastic bag, but let's get the box out of the way and see exactly what we have here. Now, this is bigger than what we usually cover on the channel. And let's go over what we have here first. First thing you're going to see, obviously, is the Mossy Oak sheath. So let's talk about the sheath. It's a lightweight sheath. It's an Oxford cloth sheath with a plastic liner inside. And it is double stitched all around. And you've got your rivets right through to keep it from, coming through at all. And it does have a belt loop there. And you've got this snap that holds it in place. So let's just see one thing. How well does that hold? That's in there pretty good. So when you take a peek inside the sheath, you can see there is a plastic liner, which is nice. It keeps it stiff. I think this will work out pretty good. It's very lightweight. It seems to be rugged. It's not a leather sheath, obviously, but this is an inexpensive knife. So let's take that out of the way for a sec. And let's take a look at this. First thing you're going to see, you've got that Mossy Oak logo right there. Immediately you see this jimping that runs up and down the spine. Really nice. You've got this handle here that is a rubberized anti-slip. It's what they call a TPR. So it's a rubberized handle. This is a full-tang machete. They include this lanyard on it, which is put right back here. But look at the grip on this. Let's see if you can see that. That's a nice, full 4-finger grip. Seems pretty comfortable. I mean, this is, mind you, this is not a review. This is just my initial thoughts out of the box. You've got this nice texturing that is really grippy. I think you can really hold that nice in the hand. And since it's a machete, you want to use that with the lanyard around your wrist. So you can make your cuts. And if you happen to slip, it's going to be retained and not fall, which is nice because you don't need a machete falling through your toes. It's got this black coating. It's a black oxide coating, I believe. You've got a nice recurve here on the blade. Looks really good. So let's talk about the blade. The blade itself is a 3CR13 stainless steel. I know what you're going to say. Well, 3CR13, that's a low-end steel. It is a lower-end steel. It's a steel that you'll find on more affordable knives, but it is a true stainless. And it has its place, especially in outdoor knives like this, and I'll explain why. One, this comes in at, they claim it at a 50 to 55 hardness. Typically, you would want a 55 to 60 hardness on a CR13 knife. So if it is in that 55 range, that they're saying, that's not bad. That actually works pretty well for 3CR13. Now, edge retention. 3CR13 has a moderate edge retention. It's not going to hold an edge as long as like S30VN or even D2. But it will hold an edge for a decent amount of time. But you'll need to sharpen it a little bit more often. Where 3CR13 shines is in corrosion resistance. Because it's a true stainless steel, this is great for humid places. And when you think about where you're going to be using machete, you're going to be using it in the woods, in the forests, where you're going to have moist environments. So that's why this works out really well. Now, as far as toughness, it's a decent toughness steel. It's not the best. This will handle most medium duty work, light duty work. I'm not recommending going down and cutting down trees, but for what a machete is intended for, clearing brush, clearing bushes, that sort of thing, that is perfect. Now, the big key is, since it doesn't have the greatest edge retention, is that 3CR is very easy to sharpen. It's one of the easiest steels to sharpen. So you'll be able to keep an edge without a problem. Now, let's talk about what you're going to use this for, okay? And let's talk about, overall, this comes in at 11.5 inches, which is what we were speaking about before. So it's not a giant size machete, but this is a nice one that if you're going out on a hike and you're going down a trail, that may have some overgrown sections, but you're not in deepest, darkest woods. You don't need a giant machete. This would be enough to cut away at the trail for you. You know, what else are you going to use it for? This will work great for backpacking, hiking, camping, but this will also be nice to do yard work. Like, we know some people, like especially me, I have woods behind my house. There are plenty of woods. And sometimes you wind up going out into those woods and some where you may want to walk needs to be cleared. This is perfect for that. You have overgrown weeds in your yard, you know, that, or maybe too big for a weed whacker. You can go in, chop these right out with them, you know, hack away at them, take those down. So it'll be good for yard work as well. Now, let's take a look at how big this is in comparison to some other fixed blade knives. So obviously, it's a much bigger fixed blade, but there you go. There's a Nafzlander 4. The Nafzlander 4 is basically the size of that handle. But let's take a look at a little bit bigger of a knife that we all know. And that is the Mora knife Companion. You can see it dwarfs the Companion. Because again, this is not a EDC style knife. This is a machete made for clearing brush and that sort of thing. You know? But I just want to kind of give you an idea in comparison so you can just kind of gauge just how big this is. And the weight on this is actually not bad. It comes in at 7.27 ounces. So it's not very heavy. And the sheath is ultralight as well. So I don't know. I think this will make a really, really good outdoor companion. You know, are there better machetes out there? Probably, but this is going to beat your, you know, your cheap Ozark Grail type of stuff. I should say Ozark Trail. And your, you know, your cheap no-name stuff that you might find at like a Walmart or a local Ace Hardware or something like that. And these come in at around the $20 price point. So they're not bad. They're going to be a value-packed item. And I think this will do everything you need it to do. So what I'm going to do is, you know, again, this is just a initial thoughts video. This is not an unboxing. This is just an unboxing. It's not a review. But let's check out a couple of other things. So let's see how well this will do cutting paper. So let's grab some paper. There we go. Let's see if it's sharp. Pretty sharp. I mean, that cuts right through that without a problem. So, you know, obviously a paper test is not a true real world test, but it gives you an idea of how sharp it is out of the box. So I don't know. I think this will be a really good value. I think this will serve you well, especially if you're on a budget and you can't afford to go out and buy, you know, your $150, you know, high-end machete. If you're on a budget and you're looking for something to knock around with in the woods or whatever, definitely take a look at that. This, again, this is the Mossy Oak 11.5-inch machete. I will link it down in the description, so that way you can check it out. And tell me what you think. Do you think this is something you would use? I'd really like to know, you know, what your thoughts are. And do you use a machete? I know not everybody does, but I think if you need a smaller size machete that's lightweight and capable, this one will be the one for you. All right, folks. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. And As I always say, until we meet again, keep your blade sharp.